Well, thanks for joining us on this beautiful Mat-Su Valley day. Where are our Mat-Su Valley legislators? Come on. Mike Chenault from Lower Kenai, Lower Mat-Su. Okay. Well, welcome. It is so fantastic to be together in this free land, this free country, and to be signing some bills and some resolutions that give an even bigger picture of that freedom. I didn't do this alone, though. There was a lot of help from many of you community members, from organizations. I want to say thank you to the Knollwood Shooting Range. Where's Noel, too? You were just here a second ago. Let's give Noel a hand as well. And I'm so thankful that you legislators are here. We've got commissioners here, Commissioner Masters, Commissioner Schmidt. Did I miss? Is anybody else here a commissioner? Did I miss? And now let's have our legislators come up here. Legislators, all legislators. We've got Valley representation. We've got Anchorage representation. We've got Kenai Peninsula representation.
They're really tall. The tall.
And then let's get our two commissioners, Commissioner Masters and Commissioner Schmidt.
And the commissioners.
Yeah, I want to make sure, see who we've got.
These guys. The guards. I feel safer.
Where'd the suits come from? Well, listen, you all are gathered here because we share in common this interest, this deep and abiding and profound interest in our lives and our liberty. And the Second Amendment is that bulwark that supports and protects those fundamental interests of life and liberty, along with the Ninth Amendment, the 10th Amendment as well. But I'm signing a package of legislation and resolutions all at once today. In fact, I was just asked inside, why are you signing these all at once, Governor? And I said, because we want to send the loudest, biggest message that we can, that Alaska will stand up for our Second Amendment rights. We claim these as the people's protection against tyranny and against physical harm, our guardians of life and liberty. And so today, Alaska declares that we trust the American people. We trust them, and we trust Alaskans in particular, who are largely gun owners. We always have been. But even for those who do not own firearms, they own their constitutional rights, and this is one of them, the right to bear arms. Our first bill I'm going to sign today is House Bill 69. And this bill, among other provisions, amends the Alaska Firearms Freedom Act to make unenforceable any federal law that violates the Second Amendment. It also prohibits the use of state or local government assets to aid implementation of federal laws that infringe on the rights of Alaskans to keep and bear arms, as well as federal laws that deny a person federal or state constitutional due process rights. The sponsor of that piece of legislation, Speaker Mike Chenault, the bill's prime sponsor, is here. And I'd love it if, Speaker Chenault, if you could come speak. Where'd I miss you? Where'd you go? If you can come speak to your bill. You got my back.
I've got your back as usual. First off, Governor, thanks for coming up here and signing the bill. I think that you said it most clearly, that it's about Second Amendment rights and how Alaskans are supportive of their Second Amendment rights and hold them close to their hearts. So with that, thanks, Governor.
So the first bill I'll sign is House Bill 69. I've got the authentication here from Senate President Charlie Huggins and from Speaker of the House Mike Chenault that we've got the bill is passed by the legislature. House Bill 69 had strong support from Brian Judy and the NRA, and I'd like to have Brian come say a few words as well. Brian, where are you? Sorry I missed you in the earlier part here.
Thank you. Well, yeah, this is an important bill. We are facing difficult times with the federal government right now. We have a federal government that does not respect the type of freedoms and the way of life that people in Alaska do. And this bill will help to ensure that the state's not going to be party to enforcement of bad federal legislation. So thank you, Representative Chenault, and thank you, Governor.
The next bill, House Bill 24, Stand Your Ground legislation. This piece of legislation had 4 prime sponsors. Representative Newman has been working this piece of legislation for a number of years now, and we want to say thank you to him. It also had several other prime sponsors, Representative Isaacson, Representative Bob Lynn, and Representative Eric Feige. The bill clarifies the individual's right to stand their ground and not second-guess the consequences of protecting him or herself or their family, as long as they're where they have a lawful right to be. And I was asked a couple questions earlier, just before signing the bill, about concerns raised about why, with all the people running around doing bad things with guns, why this legislation was important. And I thought, frankly, that's exactly why this legislation is important. And we're talking about a law-abiding citizen's right to stand his or her ground. That's what this bill is about. Representative Newman, would you come and talk a little bit about your legislation?
Thank you, Governor. This, again, goes back to some of the Governor's earlier remarks about being a team effort. And this bill originally came about working with Brian Judy, brought it to my attention. We went and met with Governor Parnell, got his support on that, and that's where we really started gaining some ground on that. Through his support, the Department of Law, working with Commissioners Masters and Schmidt on this one also, with making sure that they were okay with it, with what they do with public safety and corrections. And it's been a real team effort. And I look around in the public and see, Mike and Chuck out here, members of the public. This was a ground up type of piece of legislation. A lot of emails to a lot of legislators is what made this happen. And obviously support with our governor. So thank you, Governor Parnell, for that.
Thank you. And so, Brian, if you would come join us as well with Rep. Newman while I sign this bill, I'd appreciate it. Alaska has stand your ground legislation. This is not a quick bill signing. The next bill is House Bill 33. This bill allows Alaskans to have something that has a practical application for many Alaskans. One-handed knives that you can open with just one hand. Strangely, some of these knives are currently prohibited for sale, manufacture, or possession in our state. In fact, I had some wonderful people offer to bring one today to give me as a gift, and we said, we got to wait 90 days till after my signature is on this, until we make it effective, that we're not prohibited. Knives are some of the oldest tools known to mankind, and we don't think the state should be prohibiting them. Rep. Newman, would you please come speak about House Bill 33?
Thank you, Governor. Again, this was a bill that was introduced to me by the National Assembly of Sportsmen's Caucus. It came around as a sportsmen's rights issue because so many sportsmen use these types of knives. Want to recognize one of our co-chairs for the Alaska Outdoor Heritage Caucus, Representative Stoltz is a member of that. But again, Todd Rathner from Knife Rights is up here. Todd came up from Arizona to join us on this. It was been a driving force in trying to get us information on this. And again, industry that helped us on this, from the unions of types of knives that they use. Again, another sportsman, the commercial fishing industry in particular, it's a safety issue for those. And again, working with the commissioners to make sure that they were okay with it. And again, just trying to make sure Alaska has the tools they need to continue building Alaska. Thank you, Governor.
Let's come on up, Todd. And also, do we have Ray and Ryan Tebow with us, owners of Alaska Knives? Are you here? Could you come up with us as well, gentlemen?
Well, I think we're going to have salted. I brought something that is not an illegal knife at the moment. Thank you very much.
The next bill we're going to sign is House Bill 83. It was sponsored by Representative Wes Keller and co-sponsored by, I think, virtually everybody behind me here with me. House Bill 83 tasks our Attorney General with reviewing federal law and federal laws as a normal course of business. The AG is to report to the legislature on any of those laws that may be unconstitutional or improperly adopted. So I'd like to bring Rep. Wes Keller forward to talk about his legislation.
Thank you, Governor. Thank you for coming and signing the bill out here in beautiful Valley. The states made the federal government. It wasn't the other way around. And our founding fathers, when they did it, they put the central government in a box, and the box is the enumerated powers that they were supposed to have. I don't think there's anybody here that would disagree with me that the Pandora's box has been opened and there's just more and more going on. The HB 83 simply requires the Attorney General appointee, who's an appointee by the Governor, head of the Department of Law, to collaborate and to report to the legislature so we can work together. And believe me, when there's federal overreach and there's laws that are unconstitutional or illegally made, there's a lot we can do. And what this does is just causes a collaboration, so maybe we can take some steps toward nullification of some of these nonsensical laws. So thank you.
Yes, we are. Federal overreach is the theme of the session. Do you want Stoltz's extra jacket?
Yes. Thank you. Something Rep. Keller said kind of struck home with me, because when each one of us was elected and we raised our right hand and swore an oath, we swore an oath to the Constitution of the state of Alaska and the Constitution of the United States. And if we don't have any kind of systematic way of continually reviewing federal law in light of the Constitution, we tend to only get focused on our state law and the legislation that's being crafted here. So I think that's a very good reminder, Representative Keller, and thank you for bringing that legislation forward. Next, I'm going to sign some resolutions, and a copy of these resolutions will be sent to the President, the Vice President, and a number of other federally elected persons. Senate Joint Resolution 6 and Senate Joint Resolution 2, I'm going to have Senator Huggins address these. The first one, Senate Joint Resolution 6, I want to say thank you to Senator Dyson and to his staff, his entire staff, but Chuck Kopp is here representing the Senator. Where are you, Chuck? Over here. Say thank you to Senator Dyson. Thank you. Senate Joint Resolution 6 is simple, to the point, and in some ways, a lot of ways, we're saddened it actually needs to be stated here in our country, because the resolution urges the U.S. Congress to not relinquish to the office of the President the duty of safeguarding one of our most fundamental rights, and urges the President to stand down from his efforts to restrict ownership of firearms. Senate Joint Resolution 2 commended our efforts to protect the state from federal incursion into the care and management of state resources and to continue to fight federal overreach. And to speak to these two resolutions, we've asked Senator Huggins to address these.
Yeah, let me say first of all, I see some faces in well back there that you're some of the more respected members of our community, and we say thank you for coming out here today, because that's what it's all about. Now, number one, I am no Fred Dyson, all right. So, but I'm standing up here and speaking on Fred's behalf. And Fred spent a couple, 3, maybe 4 years very frustrated based on being in the minority in the Senate. And just like a number of the bills that you've heard previous to this, or resolutions, they were stuck because people that were in key positions that quite frankly were Democrats held them up. And I'll just tell you on Senate Joint Resolution number 6, Hollis French voted against it. Representative Josephson, Representative Kurtula, French voted against it again. And when you go to Senate Joint Resolution number 2, Josephson voted against it. Kawasaki voted against it. And Christ Tompkins voted against it. The thing they have in common is they're all Democrats. They're liberals, and they're absolutely the enemy of what we're standing here today about. So, number one, we know that the lifeblood of this state is the spirit of the people. The financial piece of it is resource development. Fred Dyson has a right, when we as a state have to have the rights to manage our resources and develop those resources. And if you don't think it's headed in the wrong direction, ask Shell why they aren't drilling offshore this year. Go to NPRA and check that 50% of it has been taken off for exploration. The trend is bad based on what's happening in D.C. But finally, Fred's not here in body, he's here in spirit, but these two resolutions are so important to our state, no matter what reference points you take on those. And thank you very much for the support of this, because without you, it doesn't happen. Thank you, Governor.
Senate Joint Resolution 6. And then Senate Joint Resolution 2. Okay, finally, last one. House Joint Resolution 12, sponsored by Speaker Chenault. This encourages the manufacturers of firearms to locate their companies in Alaska, where we have a great workforce, business-friendly tax laws, and excellent constitutional protections and protectors. So, Rep. Chenault, if you come forward, please.
Thanks again, Governor. And, I think that Alaska wants to send that message. We are open for business. Just seen a story out of Fairbanks, can't buy ammo. That's happening all over the U.S. And a lot of these states are creating new laws and new restraints against these manufacturers. And we just want to make sure, and that's what the resolution did, was sent the message to, I can't remember, 150 different manufacturers, saying that bring your manufacturing, bring your jobs, bring your people to Alaska. We'll welcome you with open arms. So thanks again for the support of this resolution.